Good morning, everybody. I thought we'd start a little bit earlier so we can have a chit chat because there's some interesting conversation going on in the chat already. I love the pre-stream chats. I do. Rob, I think you're right about Victoria. So, hello, everybody. Sorry, I forgot to say hello. It's like somebody chokes on their spit and the whole of Victoria goes into lockdown. And I'm not even sure if it's working. Let's be honest, has it actually stopped anything? I'm feeling like it. Good morning, Kane was first here. Hi, JP. That's actually really hilarious. Is Stoddy on the list? Stoddy is irrepressible, so Stoddy should be on this list. And Rob, as always, I really feel for you there in Victoria. I do. G'day, Daz. In answer to your question that I just saw in chat, in the comments of my other video, I actually don't own any opals. I really do need to get myself an opal because they are apparently very lucky for us Librans. I'm not particularly superstitious, but I do quite like traditions and things like that. G'day, Steve Webb. Nice to see you. Lambo, always lovely to see you. G'day, Ed. Nice to see you all the way from the US. Kynan, hello. Love to Mrs. Peppers for me. I'm just imagining Kaz up there in Cairns on his holiday. I'm like envisaging like a Benny Hill scene where he's being chased around by all these beautiful ladies in bikinis. I hope that's how it's going for him. Oh, you're in Victoria too, Lambo? Yeah, exactly, Stephen. That's what Rob was just telling me. G'day, Stoddy. Yeah, we're just having a chat. We haven't actually started yet. JP said that you should actually be on this list, Stoddy. I happen to agree. I didn't think of that when I was compiling it. We're just having a chat before we start. Because I wanted to ask you on next Monday, because today I think is Friday. I've had such a messed up week. We'll be playing Kaz Sim again. And as Kaz isn't here, do you all agree that Kaz Sim should definitely be in a Pepsi t-shirt next episode? Because that actually tickled my fancy a little too much. The idea of putting Kaz Sim in a Pepsi shirt. I like that. And then he's going to take custody of Hillary and Karen. I don't think you could have come up with better names. They would be G'day, Russ. They would be chasing him to get their bikini tops back. Stoddy's been on lists before. But this one's of like legendary weapons, of fable. That's funny. And gets fat. You think Simkaz should get fat? We could do that, Sims do put on weight. We could just make him eat lots of cake and hamburgers and that. Good morning, Nicole King. We actually just started a little bit early because we're just having a little chin wag before we actually get going. This is the unofficial pre-stream stream, I suppose you could call it. How chilly is it where you all are? Oh, can we make him eat a Brussels sprout? Do you know what? You can grow Brussels sprouts on The Sims, so I don't see why he couldn't. I'll look into it. Yeah, we should. And also we'll be putting JP Sim in there this on Monday. He'll be going in as well. And JP knows that whenever I put him into a game, whatever game I'm playing, I always put him in the crappiest house, in the crappiest place. So he already knows he's probably just going to be homeless living on a corner somewhere. Pepsi shirt, sailor's hat, and a cabin boy. Okay, maybe I do have a sailor's hat. Oh, I'm sure it is, Nicole King. What do you mean by freezing? It's pretty cold here at the moment. Are any of you where there's all the spider webs at the moment? I saw that. It's like people in the US. Did you see that, Ed B? We often get blanketed in spider webs, and it's because Victoria's copping it at the moment. Like there's towns without electricity, there's flooding, they're in lockdown, You'd like to spend the night with Dolly Parton, Bonnie Tyler, and Mariah Carey. Kane, they're actually pretty good picks. That would actually be a pretty interesting night. But, Mariah Carey, she's a bit of a diva. I don't know how she'd get on with the others, but Dolly Parton's great. And Bonnie Tyler, I haven't thought of her for years. 6 degrees. I've no idea what the temperature is here today, but it's pretty frosty and it's pretty dark. So Nicole King, your idea of freezing... and our idea of freezing might be totally different. All right, I think we should start our official stream now. 4 days, no power? Gosh, I hope you're okay. Stoddy, it is just like the Stanford prison experiment. We're being mean because we can, yeah. Hey, we've got to put Stoddy Sim in there. Do you know, we could make him like a marine biologist or something. We've got to put a Stoddy Sim in there too. I might even surprise you on Monday and have a few more of you in there. And g'day, Harpe. Spiderwebs. And a snake? What sort? I'm not afraid of snakes, but I certainly am aware to keep away from them. All right, I think we should get started actually. Because it's 9:30 now. So hello, happy Friday, everybody. We made it to the end of another week. Welcome back to my channel. Oh dear, Nicole, it's 16. That's a warm day here. I'd be breaking out my swimsuit if it was 16. If it's your first time visiting, well, hello there. Thank you so much for stopping by. I appreciate you spending your time at my little channel and in our wonderful little community. So please don't forget to subscribe, because in case you're wondering why I have an L plate hanging up there, it's because I am a learner streamer and it's not coming off until I reach 500 subs. Thank you to all my new subscribers that I have gained recently. I hope you can actually jump in the chat and join us sometimes. That would be fantastic. So 25, Kynan, that is glorious. That would be fantastic. Lambo's got spiders everywhere on the side of the road. It's like snow. It's quite amazing to see. Oh, python. They're beautiful, aren't they? Aren't they just beautiful? And they're not going to hurt you at all. JP, we went a weekend without internet. Yeah. Oh, JP, I couldn't imagine the boys 4 days without power. It was bad enough. They were getting into mischief, our lads, without even internet access. So they wanted to know how we did it in the olden days before computers and internet. Yeah, no, not going Mexican for you, Nicole. You're staying up on that side of the border. Probably wise. All right, let's get into today's subject. With ancient stories of gods and demigods and mighty heroes come fables and legends of their weapons. Some of these supposedly magic weapons can be seen today in museums or cliff faces even. But most just live on in our imagination and the cultures from which these tales began. Number 1. Hang on a second, let me get myself organised. Okay, is the Harpe sword. And it comes from Greek mythology, where Kronos, son of, I'll say it like Uranus, so there's no, not too many anus jokes, used it to castrate his father. The sword is recognisable by the curved sickle protruding near the tip of the blade, and apparently Perseus also used a harpe to decapitate Medusa. So if you've ever got a Medusa to get rid of, you need a harpe. And the next one is actually a really cool story. The legendary sword Gram was forced into the tree Barnstokker by Odin, one of the most persistent and highly regarded gods in both Norse and Germanic mythology. Sigmund the Volsung pulled the sword from the tree and used it to defeat the dragon Fafnir. Though it broke in battle after the sword was reforged, it was sharp enough apparently to split an anvil clean in half. That's pretty flippin' sharp. Okay, now legend exists of King Arthur in English storytelling, and in it, King Arthur wielded a magical weapon named, and I'm sorry, I'm going to get some of these names wrong, especially the Welsh ones, okay? Carnwennen. Now, it's a dagger that was reputed to cast its master into shadow, and Arthur used it to slice the witch Ordu in half. A dagger that could slice a witch in half. That's a pretty impressive dagger. G'day, Addy boy. Nice to see you here. Okay. Now, this is the better known weapon of King Arthur. Of course, it is Excalibur. It's often associated with the Sword of the Stone, the sword lodged in a boulder, which was only able to be pulled out by the true King of England. The sword Excalibur had the power to blind its enemies, and its scabbard could prevent the wearer from bleeding caused by wounds inflicted in battle. That almost gives him an unfair advantage. It's almost like how Superman is just overpowered, you know? Where's the challenge? It's almost cowardly to have something that powerful. That was a joke. No, I don't want the ghost of King Arthur, if he was real, coming after me. This next one's great because it actually can be seen in a museum. The legendary Hun warrior Attila is said to have been given a weapon by the gods themselves. The sword of Attila was used by the great military commander in battle and as a symbol of divine favour. A sword some claim is the legendary weapon is housed in the Kunsthistorisches Museum. It's in a museum in Vienna. Though this sword seems to have been made at least half a millennia after Attila died. But still, cool. I'd like to think it actually is Attila the Hun's sword. Nicole King, yeah, exactly. Maybe that's how it did it. Yeah. Stephen Webb. The next one is Saint Joan of Arc, and she had many visions from saints and from Michael the Archangel, one of which told her to find a holy sword behind the altar of the Church of St. Catherine in Fierbos. Upon finding it, the rust was easily wiped off the sword and 5 crosses were revealed. St. Joan later used the sword in battle, though it's debated whether she actually killed anyone because she was actually much more symbolic than actually in there fighting. Huns are fun. That should be a t-shirt, Michael Stott. Okay, now Addy boy, you mentioned this one. The Celtic sword Fragrach was said to have been forged by the gods themselves and used by Manannán mac Lir, the guardian of the other world and pilot of the boat ferrying souls to the afterlife. The sword was reputed to cut through any armour, give the user control of the winds, and force the truth out of whomever's throat it was on. I could do with one of them, just holding it up to someone's throat and they'll tell you the truth. That would come in handy as a parent. I've got to tell you. No, I'm not telling you to hold swords up to your children's throats. That was just a terrible joke. We're famous for that here. Okay, now this one's a really cool story, and I couldn't leave Japan out of this list. The legendary swordsmith Muramasa Sengu was a popular sword maker in Japan, and at the time it was a commonly held belief that blades received qualities from their forger. Since he was an insane and violent man, the swords made by Muramasa Sengu were imbued with violent qualities, especially the ability to possess their wielders and turn them into deadly warriors. After the shogun's king and grandfather were killed by their blades, they were banned. And I believe he actually had a rather interesting fate. We might talk about him one day in more depth. The next one, yeah, Rob Kent, that's right. Wouldn't that have happened with any sword, pretty much? The sword of the great king of the Franks, Charlemagne, or Charles the Great, Joyeuse, was used by the famous historical figure in uniting most of Western Europe. It's now housed in the Louvre, and the sword was used for French coronations from 1270 for Philip III until 1824 for Charles X. So that's yeah, exactly, JP. It may not have been so magical. But remember, don't pay the ferryman. It's a cool story, though. Now, this next one, I would love to go see this, okay? This has also got to do with Charlemagne. Charlemagne's paladin, Roland, wielded the powerful sword Durendall, and the sword was said to contain a tooth from St. Peter, hair from St. Denis, part of the clothing of the Virgin Mary, and blood from St. Basil. This legendary sword was said to be the sharpest sword which had ever existed, even capable of holding off a 100,000 strong army, as the stories say Roland and his small army did. Folklore in southern France claims Roland threw the sword into a cliff wall at Rocamadour, though the tourist office there refers to the sword in the cliff simply as a replica. Cool though, right? That you could go and see this sword that with such a great legend attached to it, true or not, it's fun, don't you think? All these legends and that, it's kind of colourful. It's what makes us humans who we are. Valhalla. You're going to Valhalla, are you, Adi? You're going to have to die fighting. Has anyone been to France and seen that cliff? That would be interesting. I think that would be great. I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, Kane. It doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Let's have a Captain Cook at the news today. Western Australian pearl farmer James Brown has been named 2021 Australian Farmer of the Year, and it has been a difficult year, especially for aquaculture farmers. James is a third-generation pearl farmer, so congratulations, James. Oh, g'day, Jody. Hi, Ladies Auxiliary here. Oh, I love researching these stories. I love it. I would be doing it anyway because I'm kind of a bit time rich, so I kind of wander the strange depths of the internet. So why not share it with you guys? And now this is where it gets interesting. I had a lot of fun looking for 3 historical figures who were great swordsmen today. So my first pick would be Jack Churchill. Now, Jack Churchill fought throughout the entire Second World War with nothing but a Scottish broadsword, a longbow, and bagpipes. He didn't use a gun, but managed to stand up to people who did. He was the only person during the war to do this, and probably the only one who could. He must have been an exceptional swordsman to be able to fight like he did. He was known as Mad Jack, no surprise, because of his motto, which was, any officer who goes into action without his sword is improperly dressed. He also has the last recorded longbow and arrow killing during action when he shot an enemy German in the French village in 1940 using the legendary longbow. So that's your props to Jack, I reckon, indeed, to go through the whole Second World War. Was it Second World War? Yeah, with nothing but a Scottish broadsword, a longbow, and bagpipes. I actually bet Mad Jack would have been a frightening sight. Oh, congratulations, Jody. Deaconess Jody, I'm so proud of you. That's quite an honour. You must be very well trusted and very well read in the scriptures. So congratulations on that. You can't have received that honour without actually deserving it. So congratulations. I haven't seen that show, Nicole. I might have to have a look. Harpe, I've never heard of Mad Jack. It's amazing, isn't it? The next one is William Marshall. Now, there's a great picture of his tomb. I should have shown it to you. William Marshall was the first Earl of Pembroke and known to be one of the greatest knights of all time. Before Marshall was knighted in 1166, he was a successful tournament fighter like jousting and things like that, and a knight-errant. Marshall's life is well documented because soon after his death, his son, who must have really loved his dad, commissioned a very detailed record of his life to be made. What a beautiful thing. What a beautiful thing for his son to have done. Now, the next one, I'm going to say some of these names wrong, but I'm going to try not to because this was an amazing story. Okay. Joseph Boulogne, Chevalier de Saint-Georges. He was a French classical composer, virtuoso violinist, a conductor of the leading symphony orchestra in Paris, and a renowned champion fencer. Now, he was born in the then French colony of Guadeloupe, and he was the son of Georges de Boulogne Saint-Georges, a wealthy married plantation owner, and Georges's mother was Nanon, his father's wife's African slave. So he was an illegitimate son. But when he was young, his father took him to France where he was educated. During the French Revolution, the younger Saint-Georges served as a colonel in the Legion Saint-Georges, which was the first all-black regiment in Europe, fighting on the side of the Republic. Today, the Chevalier de Saint-Georges is best remembered as the first known classical composer of African ancestry. He composed numerous string quartets and other instrumental pieces, as well as operas. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing one of his operas, but what was so amazing about Georges was that when he was sent to Paris for education, he progressed at learning fencing. It was so rapid that he was already beating the best swordsman at the age of 13. And at 17, he developed apparently what was written down as the greatest speed imaginable. Georges was still a student when he beat an Alexandre Picard, who was a fencing master in Rouen, who had been mocking him as a mulatto in public, and that taught him a lesson to be totally thrashed by a teenager. So that's why you don't be going around making fun of folk. I'm thankful that there are people like you, Jody, because that is such a big responsibility. I know I could not do it. And being faithful myself, I appreciate folk like you who are there for folk like me when we need a bit of spiritual guidance. So I really very much appreciate it. Go the All Blacks. Wait, wrong sport. I know, but what an amazing story, right? Like I like that his father still accepted him, because we actually don't know if his mother had much choice in even having that baby. So it was good that his father took him on and educated him and gave him actually even inheritances. Yeah, and the story goes on and on. He's actually an amazing character. We could probably even do an entire video on him. Anyway, I'm probably going to get out of here now. Congratulations again, Jodie, and thank you very much for serving the kingdom. As always, it has been wonderful to share a smoko with you all. I've had a great time having a chat with you today. Please do leave a thumbs up below the screen. Subscribe if you haven't already. Don't forget to ding my little bell for notifications of all my future uploads. And you don't know, I might surprise you with a surprise stream, especially while Kaz is on holiday being chased around by bikini-clad supermodels. Please consider sharing this channel. Like, tell somebody about it so that we can just reach 500 and I can get off these L plates. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Say good day in the comments. Suggest a subject for a future video. Let me know in the comments any ideas you want me to do with Sim Kaz, because we're going to be doing that on Monday. You know, I might even surprise you with a stream where we play it live. Maybe we can make some changes to Sim Kaz live while we're streaming over the weekend. Maybe, not promising, just maybe, okay? I hope you can join me at 9:30 on Monday morning, and have a fantastic weekend, everyone. In Victoria, I am thinking of you. I hope you get your power back soon, Lambo. Love and kisses. Bye, everybody. See you later.